down the line. And it's not based on anything I do. It's just prejudice or being prejudged when they hear about my story and how I got to where I am today.
Okay.
But I don't mind. I'll share it with you, and it is what it is. I've gotten to that point where I figure, my success, I'm the captain of my journey, of my destiny. So, it's only going to be what I make it and what I allow. So
yeah, and I want to share something with you. I grew up in the ghetto, and I have done, it was when I was growing up, it was just my older brother and I. I was 12 years old. He was 18. He was 19 when we came to the U.S. So for 20 something years, we were just living, the two of us, without our parents.
I see.
And we used to live in an apartment, like a housing, Section 8 housing, and any given time there's like 8 to 12 others, runaway kids, living there with us. And growing up, dude, we've done everything we could think of to do to survive. Everything from dealing drugs, robbing. I was too young to actually go rob something, but the guys, they'll go rob restaurants, they'll like crazy stuff, right? And it's I have, I've gone through so many stages of my life, from rags to riches, and to back to rags and back to riches. Like I've made so many mistakes, and so through all of that stuff, I always talk about how I love how my life is so colorful. But through all of that, it's very rare that, well, number one, I've learned not to judge anymore.
Okay,
And number two, it's rare that I find someone, well, maybe not rare, but it's not very often that I found someone that that that's that have done something worse than what I've done.
right. Okay, I see. Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, it's not all of that bad. It's bad in America's standard and society. So I'm like you. I grew up impoverished, in a bad neighborhood, bad area. And I was, pretty much a product of that, man. I was easily influenced, looking for, direction. And I got with a friend of mine coming out of college, and I was end up involved in a robbery, man, that ended up sending me to prison for a significant amount of my youth, man, for a little over 5 years.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and I really, because I was an accomplice, I wasn't really, the doer. I didn't really have a real, it wasn't a planned out thing. It wasn't anything that was just like, yeah, we're going to go rob this place. It kind of just was a more young guys. And one of my friends fell down on his luck and, decided he had this brilliant idea, and it all went down into shambles, And so I ended up getting incarcerated, man, for a little over 5 years. And in that time, when I went throughout my incarceration, man, I really learned some valuable life lessons, man. I learned that, friends that I thought were friends weren't really my friends, and enemies who I thought were enemies weren't really my enemies. And what I thought was love, was really not love. And, I learned things about myself and feelings, emotions like loneliness and despair and hardship. I was able to understand that within me. And I set out in the beginning, once I originally got incarcerated, because I felt like it wasn't fair. I felt like I didn't really, belong there. I was just, I made a decision that really ended up shooting me in the ass by going with this guy, and So when I got there, I said to myself that, man, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to increase my life, spiritually, financially, mentally, and physically, So throughout that in time and that incarceration, man, that's when I ran across, there's some beautiful minds and beautiful people down there. Not everybody's, savages and animals. Now and a lot of them are, and they belong there. But there's still some other people that, actually, I consider to be great people and beautiful minds, man, that really, I was able to, surround myself around those type of people down there. And I kind of began my path to, uh, insight and knowledge and just wisdom, man. I prayed for wisdom and understanding. And so throughout that time, man, I treated it like it was school. I don't know if you know anything about American history or Black history in particular, but a guy who was very inspirational for me, and I really looked up to him, is Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Malcolm X, he was kind of like me, a youth, grew up in bad environments, wanted to be cool, wanted to be a cool guy, and he ended up committing a robbery with a young lady, and he went to prison for 5 years. Well, in that time, Malcolm X became who he was, Malcolm X, and he studied the dictionary and learned every word, and he studied history, and he studied how to debate. And I basically took that time down there, and I studied, and maybe about on the third year or the 2.5 mark of my incarceration, I came across a real estate book. And I was consuming books just day and night. That's all I had to do. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm not big on that. I'm not big on just a lot of the propaganda, So I consumed a lot of books. I wanted to teach myself like Malcolm X and learn. And I came across a real estate book, and I knew with my current situation, it was going to be hard for me to go enter into the world again and try to get a job, So that would be something I would have on my back, what they call a social disability. So I came across a real estate book, and the numbers and the things that they were talking about, it was just mind blowing. And I said, I've always been like a visionary, and I've always been somebody who, was very visual. Like, they say great athletes visualize themselves making those plays or making those great shots, way before it comes. Well, I've always felt like that. And when I got this real estate book in my hand, and it just kind of, it heightened my reality. It said, dang, I could do this. I've always been smart, very intelligent, graduated high school, went to play football, just, made some bad decisions as a younger guy. And so, with that book, it changed my thinking. And then maybe about 2.5 years before I was released, I got that first book, and it just sparked my interest. And then I finally began actually studying those books. And then I got Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that just lit a fire within me. Then I got Creating Wealth by Robert G. Allen, and that just added on top of that. And then so I went back and found all of their books, and I read every Robert Kiyosaki book he has that I could get my hands on at the time, and other Weekend Millionaire real estate books and fix and flip. So that just became a part of me. That was something that I knew I wanted to do. And it's kind of funny though, Tim, because when I was young, I have an uncle who's and he's a mortgage broker in Atlanta, in Georgia right now. He's doing very well. He's great. And as a youth, I would go to Atlanta for the summers with him and my aunt and their kids. And he's an investor. He started off wholesaling. Now he owns mortgages. He got out of investing in real estate when the market crashed. He's one of those guys that's spooked right now. He doesn't really want to deal with real estate because he was there right when the crash happened, almost lost his shirt, but he didn't. And he said, I just want to do financing. But he's become more and more interested. He sees me doing a lot of deals. So, but people would ask me, I would be with him. He would make me paint garages and cut grasses. And, people would always ask, hey, what do you want to be? And as a young guy, and especially in our communities, we want to do sports and we want to, be athletes. But, people would say, well, what do you want to do? What's your plan B? And I said, I want to be a real estate agent. And at that time, I didn't know what I was saying. But as I grew older and then as I started to acquire this knowledge, and I knew I was kind of anointed. I knew I wanted to be a real estate investor. So I spent a lot of time during my incarceration really studying like I was in college, and I put a lot of mental energy. I did a lot of mental exercises. I almost, learned the strategies verbatim without even applying them. So I had all of this information in my head and I hadn't any experience. And then I was released. And I started working, but I knew this is only temporary. I'm gonna work, and then I'm gonna look for investments. I'm a bird dog. I was the guy who went to the REI meetups, and I would sell other investors, what I'd find driving for dollars, So just because I knew it was a process, and I was just taking those steps, even with me paying you, I know. Just the success path, it goes through a mentor, and you have to have somebody, to mentor you and help you gain that success, that's already gained that success and that, won't be judgmental, won't have, they're comfortable with just, giving you their insight on their experiences and how they reached that. So, that's kind of how what fuels my fire. I was abandoned. I was neglected throughout that time. Didn't really have anybody, so all I had was my grandmother, and she would write me and send me cards. But, that's great. I love her to death. She's my angel, and she's one of the only tattoos I have on my body. But, it's hard once you're out, you're free, and then you get incarcerated, and it seems like everybody, forgets about you. And that really plays a part on your psyche and on your emotion. So, throughout that time while I was dealing with that stress, I just said, hey, I'm going to focus my energy on trying to increase my mentality, increase myself spiritually, work out physically, eat right, learn about my health and all of those things. And now I'm here where I am today, doing real estate. I just took action, and I started, getting out there, bumping my head, making mistakes and learning from those mistakes and trying to become successful to, really give back. One of the things I want to do is just, provide another avenue for individuals who are like myself, who I want to teach them entrepreneurialism. I want to teach them, trade that can eventually turn into business owners and give them another way than just sports. Athletes, we want to be successful at sports. Well, no, we should be successful business owners. We should be successful in way other areas than what, everything we're told, doctor, lawyer, physician, whatever, there's plenty of opportunity. It's, we could be tech geniuses or whatever. So, part of my reason is, to build something for myself first. But the only way that I can pull others up is if I'm first successful and I understand, I'm big on philanthropy. I know that's a part of, but having great success. I think the Bible even says with, great power, much is needed. I forgot exactly how it said, but yeah, I mean, that's it, man. I don't want to go on and on, but yeah, I'm very ambitious because, I have a troubled past, and so I do it to, for myself, one, but also, man, to show others that, if I can do it, they can do it as well. You know, I beat all the odds, and I'm actually out here. And no, I'm not a criminal. No, I don't do mischief. I don't, do all of this stuff. My situation was, and there's a lot of people like that. Their situation is just, you know, we get into uh, bad friendships or bad groups, and we don't know how to stop it, especially at a younger age, man. We don't know how to pull back peer pressure and all of the other things. So, I've used that as a fuel to my fire. It's like I got a vendetta against the world, and my success is my revenge. So
Awesome.
yeah,
That's great, and I'll share with you something a little bit here. I mean, I think that I think that you and I, um, they say like there's no coincidence, right? Like that like people are put together for very specific reasons, and so I'm really glad that you and I are working together and you're sharing what you're sharing, because I'm on the board of a nonprofit organization called No More Victims. Well, it's called Cherish Our Children International, but one of the programs that we have here in Houston is called No More Victims, where we're in 4 different high schools. We'll actually have a class within the HISD high school here, where kids of incarcerated parents, they can come to our class to get support. And because like statistically, 90% of or 70% of kids of incarcerated parents follow their parents' footstep and also get in trouble, right, and go to prison. And so this lady, Marilyn Gambrell, started this nonprofit like 20 years ago. She was a parole officer, and she just didn't like how these kids were, abused and mistreated because their parents are in prison, and their grandparents are taking care of them, their uncles are taking care of them, that they're not, a lot of these people who take care of them abuse them. And so so she started this, and she's done so much, but now the class actually get accredited as a half of a credit,
oh really?
elective credit, and yeah, and so far, like all of her kids that have been through that program has graduated high school. She said that only 4 out of like 1,000 kids that she knows of have gotten in jail. I mean, 24 out of 1,000, which is a very low percentage.
No, it is. Yeah.
Um, and she created an amazing community where these kids look out for each other. And yeah, they get sworn in, and they promise to keep like secrets in the classroom, so that way things that are shared are not being shared outside, and just different things that they do for each other to support each other. It's amazing community.
That's great. That sounds awesome, man. That sounds something like I'll really be fond of.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, like next week, I'm going into one of the prisons here in Sugarland or in Richmond, where once in a while, some of these kids goes into prison to talk to the adults about what it's like for their kids when they are in prison.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, I was a part of, so I've never seen that exactual experience, but a lot of different organizations used to come inside to try to, help or give understanding to certain topics. So yeah, no, and I actually myself would like to go back one day, and be and talk to those guys and let them know, hey, right here, in this place, in this institution, I taught myself, business and real estate and marketing, and then I went out and applied it.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. That would be amazing for you to help them. And I'll share with you one of the ideas that I came up with too that relates to our real estate. Like I was, being on a board, I've learned a lot of what it means to be on a board of a nonprofit.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, there's so many, it, there's a lot of things that you can and cannot do when you are a nonprofit. Either you can't do it because of the IRS restrictions, or you can't do it because of the donors. It just doesn't look good, right?
Okay.
And so what I've learned is that if you're a private individual or company, and you contribute that way, is much better than try to do it under a nonprofit.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, because you lose a lot of freedom, being a nonprofit. But so I was thinking about, man, how can I help these kids to, number one, have like a skill set that that they can go find jobs, they can start their business, they can start real estate investing, and number two, that it's easy enough that they can start now, with very minimal skills needed. Like even in high school, they can start now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I came up with this idea that so I'm this is like brand new. I literally came up with this idea 2 weeks ago when I was in the board meeting.
Okay, really?
This is very new, but I'm sharing this with you because you can implement something very similar like this in your area as well.
Okay.
So these kids are already, like the 4 high schools that we are in. It's in the low income areas of Houston, okay. And it's in areas that I'm already buying houses in right now.
Okay.
So I was like, what if I work with these kids where, because a lot of them don't have cars, they don't have transportation, they can ride a bus, but even if they don't ride a bus, they can just walk around their neighborhoods and find me vacant, abandoned properties.
Absolutely.
And find me owners of these properties, and then they get a referral, a finder's fee for it. So, I like it. So I'm working with the lady that started the program, where so basically, she, she's like the head, right? She's like the mama of the group. Okay. And then underneath her, she has 2 older kids that have graduated out of her program but came back to help her with the program. So they're going to be, those 2 kids are going to be the one that interact with the rest of the kids that's going to be out there looking for vacant houses for me. Okay. So what's going to happen is that I'm allocating $1,000 per deal, and so the kids that help find the kid that helped report the vacant house is gonna get a piece of it. The kid that helped track down the owner and find out if they want to sell is gonna get a piece of it. The kids that's managing the process is gonna get a piece of it. The lady that started program is gonna get a piece of it, and the nonprofit's gonna get a piece of it.
Wow.
So everybody wins in this process, right? And this is where it gets even better. I found a gentleman that he does classes for people who get out of prison on remodeling homes, and so that way they have a skill set.
Right.
So I met with him last week. So he's going to help me. So when these high school kids find me a house that I'm going to buy, my plan is actually going to go ahead and close on some of them, not all of them, but some of them. I'm going to actually buy them, and then I'm going to hire that man to use my house as the learning tool for those people to learn how to remodel homes, and they get paid for doing that.
Mm. Mm.
So it's kind of like mixing, Habitat for Humanity into this thing, right? That,
Right.
and so you have the kids finding the house, you have the adults, ex-convicts adults that's remodeling the homes,
Mhm.
and then when that's all done, the whole community can help find a buyer for these homes.
Wow. Yeah, that's ingenious.
Right. And and by talking to these people, number one, the people that I'm working with, they know the neighborhood extremely well because they run the nonprofit in the neighborhood.
Hmm. Hmm.
So not only do they know like the neighborhood, but they know like whose house is vacant. They know who's is in trouble. They know who needs help. Like they know a lot about the community
Yeah.
that most outsiders don't know.
Right. Right.
Right. And so now they're going to be working with me to like feed me those data. And the thing that they make me promise to do is like to take care of the homeowners, because some of these homeowners, um, they don't want to sell the house. They want to find ways to be able to keep the house.
Right. Right.
And
Hmm.
so which is, and I suggested, yeah, like I have friends that are contractors that, like for example, there's this older gentleman, like 80 something years old. He's on dialysis. His house is in really bad shape. The foundation is really bad, and he doesn't want to sell it. And he thinks that his only solution, because he doesn't have the money, is to call one of those We Buy Houses sign and sell it to them.
All right. Right.
But the people I'm working with feels like it's not good for him to sell his house right now, because going through the stress of the move and stuff, he might just die in that process because he's so weak.
Right.
So ideally is for someone to come in, to like how to like just fix minimally, so that way the house is in livable condition for him.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I told him I have plenty of contacts. I can get people to volunteer to do something like that.
Right. Right.
So by giving, like by truly giving back to the community that way, well, whenever that man is ready to sell, or when, or maybe when he passes away and his kids are ready to sell,
Uh-huh.
then I'm like right out there in front of them to be able to buy it.
Right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So it's like longer term thinking. So yeah. So like with your background like that, definitely go find who are the nonprofits in these communities
Okay.
that
Okay.
you can work with. Like they're already working with people in those communities.
Okay. Okay.
So so yeah. So that's I mean that's an additional idea on top of what we're going to be talking about today. But
Okay.
but
I'm writing that down too. Find nonprofits in the community.
yeah. Yeah, most nonprofits, they're very they live on very tight budget. Like they don't they want to find ways to earn more money, but they don't have a way to do that other than asking for volunteers.
Okay, I see.
Other than asking for donations, they don't have an income model that can be self-sustaining.
I see.
So what you and I are doing now is we're giving them an income model that can be self-sustaining for them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I see. I see. $1,000 a deal and split up between all of the counterparts.
Right.
I
And
see.
then of course the remodeling part of it, they get more for that. But $1,000 a deal is just for the acquisition part of it.
Hmm. Right. Right. Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So yeah. So it sounds. Are you single?
Yes, I am. Hmm.
Okay, great. So you don't and you don't have kids or anything.
Don't have kids. I like, unfortunately, God hasn't blessed me with any yet. But throughout that time, it kind of saved me from making any, hasty decisions with,
Right.
you know.
Okay. And what's how old are you?
So I'm 31.
Okay. All right. I'm just making a note here. Um, all right. So good. So yeah. I mean, it's a really. I mean, it's good because you have no distractions. You know, like you really can go gung ho with this thing.
Right, right. That's what I plan. That's what I've been doing. I plan to continue that.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and then what's your first year goal here? Let's say if we look at the next 12 months, right? So July July 4th, 2017 till July 4th, 2018. What is your financial goal?
So a lot of people that I really value their opinion, they always say their first 100,000 is something that you're gonna notate and you're gonna really feel accomplished. But I think my vision is a little bigger, and I've been having some small success to this point.
Mhm.
Now I would really like to make or just see 250,000 quarter mil by next year, just in business. You know, and profit really.
Right. Okay. That's yeah, that's great. There's no, like you hear different stories. You hear like, you should, shoot for the stars and at least you land on the moon. You
Right.
you hear people talking about being realistic with your goals.
Hmm.
There's no like one set rule to that, and they there's no one way that you have to set your goals.
Hmm.
One of the things I see people, um, you know, sort of kind of fall into the trap of when it comes to setting goals is that they think their goal is like set. Like once you set a goal to make, let's say $250,000 a year in the next 12 months, for example, that it has to stay that way. No, it doesn't. Like
Right.
you can set a goal to do that, and then if you're gonna exceed that, you can adjust your goal to be more and more. Ideally is you want to look at your goals every 90 days and look at and look at your goal for the 90 days to make sure that you're on track. That's a much better way to achieve your goals than looking at your goal as a 1 year goal. The only reason why you look at your goal as a 1 year goal is so that way you can have an idea of what it looks like every 90 days. But it's really the 90-day goal that is going to be your key driver in you achieving your goals.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Um, and so I'll give you an example. Assuming let's say on average you're gonna make $9,000 for a wholesale deal. Okay. Um, have you do so far? Do you know what your average has been?
My deal size.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been right around that like 6 to 7 thousand average.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
has, this hasn't been quite not like nine yet because I have some smaller ones and some big ones
Okay.
still.
Gotcha. All right. So we can adjust this accordingly. For and for this, you, I'm gonna share with you sort of this goal setting, and then you just adjust it based on your current deal size. Okay, and then later on you can always increase that.
Okay.
Okay. But do you know what a hotel deal is when I say a hotel deal?
Now you explained it briefly the last time we went over this, but hotel is basically buying it wholesale, then actually buying it though and putting it back on MLS for retail, so it's like a hotel.
Right, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Do you use hard money, or you should use your own funds for that?
It depends, but either way, you can use hard money. You can use a transactional lender. You can, when you have your own funds, you can use your own funds.
I see.
Most of these deals, you're gonna be in and out of them pretty quickly. Your goal is to not have to go more than 30 days in
Yeah,
a hotel deal.
definitely.
Okay, and I'm gonna share with you a strategy how you can be in and out of it in, like, 3 days or 7 days even.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Um, yeah, and then on average a rehab deal gonna make you about $27,000 a deal. Like, again, like I said, these numbers are gonna vary a little bit based on the type of deals that you go after and your level of experience. As you get more experience, where you're able to negotiate the deals at a deeper discount, or you focus on deals that have deeper discount, then these amounts might change. But for the sake of this, we'll just keep this amount, and then you adjust it accordingly. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So if we look at what it would take for you to do, $250,000 a year based on $9,000 a deal wholesaling, you're looking at 28 deals in 12 months. Okay.
Okay.
28 deals in 12 months, wholesale deals, or 14 hotel deals or 10 rehab deals. I recommend that when you first start out, just start out with wholesaling, get a really full grip with that, and then expand into hoteling.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to get into rehabbing because it sounds sexy. You make a lot of profit per deal.
Yeah.
However, I recommend that you only cherry pick the deals that you know for sure it's a winner deal before you get into rehabbing.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because rehabs, you take on a lot of different risk,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the amount of time and headache that we go into a rehab deals. If we just spend that time into doing more wholesale and more hotel, we'll make a lot more money. With less headache. So, I so in a startup business, your goal is to be able to double your business every quarter. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this gives you a steady, fast growth. So what it means is that the first quarter, if all you do is make 18,000 your first quarter, and you double that, you make 36,000 your second quarter, and you double that, you make 72,000 your third quarter, and you double that, you make 126,000 your fourth quarter, you'll hit your $256,000 goal.
I see.
Okay. So now you take a yearly goal, you break it down per quarter, and and each quarter, that, like, your goal is just to focus on the quarterly numbers, not the year number.
Okay.
Because it's very easy for people to fall into the trap of, I still have another 9 months to go, I still have another 6 months to go. It's like, no, like, if you don't achieve your quarterly goals, you can forget about achieving your yearly goal.
Yeah, I can see that. You're right.
Yeah, because it gets harder as you have less time, right? All right, so what does it mean what is it going to take for you to do $18,000 your first quarter? Basically, that's 2 wholesale deals, and if you if you're talking about only making $6,000 a deal, then your number would be 3 wholesale deals instead of 2. Okay, so what and so what does that mean? Assuming that 9,000 in your case. Let me see, at $7,000. I mean $6,000 a deal. right? You're gonna need to spend, on now. When you and I first start here, we're gonna focus on a lot of like inexpensive marketing.
Uh-huh.
However, to be able to grow and do 28 deals in a year to achieve your goals, we're gonna have to spend money in marketing.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah, because otherwise we're not gonna. It's very hard for us to scale. And it's two things. You can either you can the way marketing works is that either you spend more time or you spend more money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right? If you have money sent out direct mail, then you can scale that way. Or if you have time, right? And so you spend more time instead to make up for the money, or a combination of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Then that also works. But even when you're spending your time, it's important that you know what you're worth dollar per hour, so that way you don't end up doing something that a virtual assistant can do.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
In the beginning, whatever, like do whatever you need to do to make some money, right?
Yeah.
You
Right?
know,
That's what I
yeah. I mean, it's you in the beginning you just hustle it out, but you got to really give respect to your time just as much as you give respect to your money. Okay. All right. So if we're talking about 3 deals, and I'm just gonna change these numbers real quick. If we're talking about 3 deals at $6,000 a deal, that means that you're gonna have to spend $2,000 a month in marketing, um, which is 6,000 for the quarter to hit that. Okay. Um, in uh, yeah, in this first month here, um, we're gonna focus, like I said, mostly on free and inexpensive marketing. So you're not gonna be spending the 2,000, but I know you mentioned you have 1,000 to work with, so at a minimum, we'll at least put that to work. Okay.
Okay. Okay, great.
And then we'll
And I
start.
may have more, man, just depending on what takes place. Cause I got, deals and things coming as well that I'm already currently working on. I don't mind putting my money back into the business. I know that's what it takes to get where I'm trying to in order to scale.
Right. Exactly. All right. Yeah, because I mean, you know, when you have money to put in your marketing, um, like let's say, for example, let's say you decide to bring on an acquisition person. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and we'll talk more about like who you should bring on first. Someone, an acquisition person or a salesperson, and that has to do with which part of the business that you enjoy doing.
Okay.
But let's say if you're going to bring on an acquisition person, well, it's important that you have the marketing going so that way you can keep them busy.
Yeah.
Because salespeople, if you don't keep them busy, they slack off or they go somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, so yeah. So all right. So that's what it's going to look like. Your first quarter, and then your second quarter, basically you would just double that, and then as same thing for the uh, let me see, 36 divided by 6, that would be 6, right? And then 6 times 2 would be 12. Oops. Yeah. So basically that's that's how you would increase it accordingly. Okay.
I see.
Yeah, I'm not going to take time to go through that, but you get the idea, right?
Yeah, I do.
All right, good. Yeah, so first quarter that you and I work together, this is our goal right here. This 18 grand.
Okay.
Okay. And then to set your goals accordingly. All right. So now let's get into how some of the ways that you're gonna find the deals. Okay.
Okay.
Let me see here. And I scheduled this for an hour. So we're gonna go over some of this, and then we'll schedule another call.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that way, like, I'm gonna give you some homework to do before we lead to the next one. Okay.
Great.
Um, but I understand that. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's talk about um, all the different ways that you're currently doing your marketing, and all the different tools that you're currently using.
Okay.
And when I say different ways you're doing your marketing, just give me the marketing that has worked for you. So we'll focus on that. The ones that you are trying, then you tell me that, hey, I'm testing this out, but I haven't gotten proven results for this yet. Okay. So what, like, so you look back at all the deals that you have done. How have you found those deals?
Okay. um, so yeah, man, I tell people this, that man, I find all my deals tearing up shoe leather, man. Being in the street
Okay.
and being just really out, yeah, driving for dollars. Um, that I've seen more success. I think I want to say majority of my deals came through driving for dollars and referrals. Uh, I've tested out sending out mailers. I've only got like one call. Uh, I tested out bandit signs. Hadn't got any calls from sellers. Uh, I get more calls from buyers. Bandit signs are great for buyers, I understand.
Mhm.
I've tested out, a little Facebook marketing. I might get some referrals. But man, majority of my deals came through driving for dollars and referrals.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me look at them. Let me see. I can pull them up and see which ones.
All right. And then when you're driving for dollars, how do you pick the neighborhood to drive in?
So I really don't. What I've done is, um, I have. All right. Well, I take that back. I've done 4 deals in one particular neighborhood, and that's a neighborhood I was very familiar with. I kind of grew up in that neighborhood, so I knew, as throughout my studies, I understood that you want to try to find cookie cutter homes, your middle class, um, working class neighborhoods. You want a 322 or a 42, and garage. So and fairly older. I understand that driving for dollars, you want to look for homes built, roughly 85 and under or whatever you want to put on that with possibly have some equity, and then go through those neighborhoods. And what I've done is, I pull up expired listings and I pull up foreclosures, and then I'll just in those specific areas I'll drive for dollars in areas that of my interest, and then I'll actually as I'm going to expireds and going to foreclosures, I'm also driving around so I get to see homes. And so I was big on the foreclosure list. I go knock on the foreclosure doors, but I wasn't converting any of them into deals. I'd just be doing a lot of door knocking and not getting any deals, talking to a lot of homeowners, but not really doing deals. But I find deals in the midst of that. And so I think that's where a lot of mine has
So
came.
when you say you find deals in the midst of that, is because you find like a vacant house and then.
Yeah, I find like a vacant house and find the owner, and yeah, and it pretty much just goes from there. Or while I'm out, like the other day, I'm out driving for dollars, and a guy just pulled up on me. It's like, hey, you looking at that house? I try to talk to the owner. He doesn't want to sell it, but I'm trying to sell mine. And, you know, bam, it just goes from there. I, I meet people while I'm out and about, and that's how I'm able to do these deals. Now, I use the strategy that you said on that call we had maybe a month ago or whatever. But you said go on Zillow and set up a saved search, and I did that, right?
Mhm.
And I had a young lady cold call some of those searches, and I was going to tell you this news at towards the end, but I just signed a contract on a house today. So, but it I don't know. It doesn't look promising. I have to tell you about it, but I did the Zillow, and I had somebody cold call that, and that kind of worked in my favor a little. So, but my main marketing, the things that I look for, I go for is expired listings, foreclosures, the Zillow, for sale by owners on Zillow, and code violations. And
What you do with code violation?
I haven't done really any deals, but I like to get those lists and try to market to those sellers. And I don't really, I can't say I've done any deals. Like I say, majority of my deals have came from basically cold calling and referrals. And
Okay.
yeah, that's what it. But I like code violations. Um, and what else do I market to? Um, and yeah, that's really I market to, and I think that's really it, man. I call all for sale by owner signs, for rent by owner signs. But for that equating in the deals, like I say, majority of my deals came from me getting a referral or driving for dollars.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right. Cool. So we'll so knowing that, we're gonna expand on this. Okay. On what's already working for you, and then as you close more deals and have more money to put toward marketing, we'll continue to expand these. Okay. And knowing that your strength is like being on the street, driving, talking to people, that's really great. Because like each one of us, we have different strengths. So for example, me, um, you know, driving around neighborhoods and talking to people isn't my strength.
Okay.
My strength is sitting behind the desk
All right.
and like figuring out automations and systems.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah,
And that's
like
where I would love to be stronger at, but I can't seem to find the deals. So I have to always, and I do this. I'll spend a week or 2 weeks of just trying to. I'm behind the computer. I love it, and I want to automate, and that's what I've tried. I told you I hired VAs and I've had assistants, and I'm trying to automate, but then it gets down to the crunch, like we just witnessed, where I'm in need. I haven't done a deal. I had to go find a deal, and
right,
perplexed, and I just go out
yeah.
and
Well,
then I'm able to come up with one.
right. And one of the things I want to make sure that you keep in mind is that if you like to be out there meeting with people, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like I have friends who even to today, even they make millions of dollars every year, they're still the main acquisition person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like it's just you gotta know what you love to do and you do more of that because your success doesn't come from uh, not so much which part of the business that you do. Your success comes from like how much you enjoy doing the business.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And what I enjoy most, and what a lot of my friends and real estate related people know of me right now today, is I just want to talk to sellers. I just want to go out, talk to sellers about their situation, get the contract signed, negotiate a fair price or a good price for myself and my company and the seller. And that's what I like to do. I just want to talk to sellers, and I want to automate the rest, and
Right.
build,
Yeah.
do big marketing. But
So in cases like that, you're better off. In cases like that, you're better off be out there doing acquisition, talking to sellers, and either hire a company or hire an employee that does the automation for you.
yeah.
Like let them figure out the automation.
Mhm.
right? And in my coaching with you, I'm going to share with you a lot of the automation for you to implement, you know. But yeah, like in the future, like you know, it's better if you have an employee who's strong with systems and let them do that. Let them figure out how to systemize something or how to automate something.
Okay.
And you do what you're good at, which is be in front of sellers and closing more deals, you know? Because like, even if you have a sales team, let's say later on, you know, you grow this really big and you have like, you know, 10 acquisition guys underneath you.
Okay.
It's still important that you continue to do the acquisition so that way they have someone to compete against that's strong. You
Absolutely.
can show them an example of a strong converter, you know?
Definitely. Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
all right, cool. So good. So knowing that, here's what, you know, we're going to focus we're going to focus a lot on what we call outbound leads, right? So in marketing, we have more or less two types of leads. We have inbound leads, which comes from like direct mail, internet leads that you know sign, leads that you get people to call to you.
Okay. Right. Right.
And then outbound leads are leads that you do things like driving for dollars, dialing for dollars, texting for dollars,
Yeah.
right? Things like that. Okay. So for this first quarter, we're gonna focus a lot of what you do on the outbound leads.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and if we do any inbound leads, we're gonna focus like very specifically on the on sort of these two lists combined.
Yeah,
Uh,
that tax delinquent list. I came across one from a lady who runs an insurance company. She's been trying to get in real estate. She hired somebody, and they gave her a tax, just maybe like 15 properties that was tax delinquent. And then I looked them up, and they're all like abandoned and vacant, and they owe like 5,000 or more in taxes.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a. I mean, you said only 15 properties, right?
Yeah, she had a small list, just like
Yeah.
50.
So yeah, so that's a small. I mean, it's a super targeted list, and it's a very valuable list. I mean, that
Yeah,
list is worth a lot of money,
yeah.
right?
I, I've actually went to the city and got it. Now it's just in. They give it in this weird package, and you gotta really translate it into addresses and an amount, and that's where I'm having a problem. I have it saved, but now I gotta get somebody to do some programming, some data programming.
What file format did they give it to you in?
A TRW zip file, and you have to unzip it. You have to load it on Microsoft Access.
Oh yeah,
Then you
yeah,
have to the first column 1 through 35 is account numbers and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's yeah. Here in Houston, we have something similar to that as well. Yeah, city use access files. Yeah, so you do have to figure out, find someone who knows how to work with access to convert that into like a Excel file for you or something.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But okay, well, good. But that's a good target list. So for the time being, the only list that we're gonna do outbound marketing to, direct mail to, is gonna be the tax delinquent list.
Okay.
You know, the ideal list is a combination of it's a tax delinquent, it's an inheritance or probate or an estate list, like someone passed away and someone else inherited the property,
Okay.
and that is vacant. When you have those three combinations, those are like the most targeted, most profitable list in our industry. No other list compared to that.
Okay.
Okay. Um, So yeah, those are what I call, like, yeah, the top three motivations. um and so whenever so as you and I, yeah, we're going to focus on the tax delinquent first, because that's one of the criteria. But once we get the tax delinquent list, we find out, who owns the property, whether it's owned by an estate, or or it's a probate situation, and we'll find out if it's vacant or not, from there. So one of so when we send out direct mail to the tax delinquent list, we are more interested in the mail that comes back to us than the ones that call us. The ones that call us is a bonus.
Okay.
But the ones that comes back to us, that's where our gold mine really starts.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So your code violation list, hold off on that for now. We're not going to focus on that. I'd rather you focus on the tax delinquent. You're gonna get much better results. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. But as time goes by, I mean, as you scale up more to do more deals, you can all of these lists that I'm talking about here are really good lists to mail to.
Okay.
All right. So now, the for sale by owners and for rent by owners, I have a software. So we started with for sale by owners first. I have a software that I already set up to send leads over to you. So that email that you gave me, if you check there, have you logged in since you gave it to me?
No, I have not.
Okay. When you log in, let me see if I can go there right now. All right. Can you see my can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So I just log into the email you gave me.
Okay.
On this left side here, I put everything. I set up a filter to send it here. Okay.
Great. Okay.
But here where it says landlords, so you have 476 lead of people who have houses for rent. Okay. What that means is that a lot of these people are landlords. They own rental properties. Some of these people, it could be a seller that couldn't sell the house, or they decide to rent it. If it's a seller that couldn't sell a house, they try to rent it. Those are good people for you to buy from.
Okay.
But if they own 3 or more rental properties, they are better as buyers. They're typically the landlords that we buy from. They own 2 or less properties.
Okay.
If they own 3 or more,
that makes sense.
Yeah. They're like newbie landlords that don't know what the heck they're doing, and so
right.
and so they make good good sellers for us. But if they own 3 or more properties, they typically make good buyers for us, not as good sellers. Okay. So what you're gonna do, and this part of it is a little bit more tedious to do, and if you can have a VA to do this part for you, is better, and I can help you find an inexpensive part-time one that can do this for you.
Okay, would you?
Okay, yeah. I can get one that basically for $250 a month.
Okay.
Can do this for you. Okay. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna go through and they're gonna look through each ad, Okay. Um, and and find the phone number or the website. So if it's a website like this, you can kind of skip it, because these are like in this case it might just be a a professional investor. Well, these will make good buys for us. But here's a phone number
Uh-huh.
that we're gonna get. Okay, and then we're gonna put them into a spreadsheet, or we'll have the VA put them into a spreadsheet and send them a text. So before you even have to call them, just send them a text. Okay.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. So let me go back to the email here.
I think it's that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna go through each one of these leads and do that, right?
Okay.
And look through them, get the phone number, and so on. Okay, it looks like it's the same one. So
He's same guy. Uh-huh.
yeah, it's the same guys. All right. So as you can see, so you have to go through that 470 something times. Okay.
I see. Uh-huh.
And but however, out of this 400 something, here you're gonna get yourself a really like hot buyers list right here. Boom, done.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I mean, you're gonna get at a minimum, um, at a minimum, you're probably gonna get at least 20 to 40 good buyers from here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I I like to sell to landlord buyers a lot more than rehabbers because they pay more and they're repeat customers.
Yeah. No, and I'm starting to learn that right now in my business. So yeah, I can see how I would like that too as well.
Yeah. So awesome. So yeah, so they're gonna go through that, and then here are ads of people like we buy houses type ads, sell your home fast type ads. These guys are good for you to either, do co-wholesaling with. Like
Okay.
if they have a deal that you can sell to your buyers, or vice versa. If you have a deal and you couldn't find a buyer for it, that they might have a buyer for.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I sold a deal. It's so funny, but it's the funniest thing ever. But I have a deal that I was trying to wholesale, and I couldn't find a buyer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had another wholesaler try to find a buyer for it. The reason I couldn't find a buyer for it because it's in a pretty like low income area, and
Mm-hmm.
the deal is kind of marginal.
Right. Right.
It's a nice house. It's like it's a rent ready, so we couldn't get a deep enough discount.
Right. Right. I see.
Normally, if it's a fixer upper, then we can get them at a bigger discount. But because this one doesn't need any repairs, like whoever is the landlord, they can just rent it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I had another wholesaler to help me find a buyer, and then he had another wholesaler that helped him find the end buyer.
Dang.
So I had two wholesalers in between me. And the funny part, here's where it gets funny. The end buyer ended up to be someone that I've known for a long time.
Oh, really?
He owns a title company
Oh, man.
that I used to close majority of my deals with because his assistant, his escrow agent who closes deals, is my ex-girlfriend from middle school.
Wow. Wow.
If that's not funny, I don't know what is, right? And so check this out. Check this out. So the title company that I now use um, used to be his ex partner.
Oh, wow.
So so
Yeah.
so 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 at closing, his ex partner is closing on the deal that he bought that came from me. It's so funny.
Dang, that's crazy. Wow.
Right. But
Wow.
yeah. But yeah, so the more of the story, and then yeah, I only made $4,000 on the deal, and then the other wholesaler each made $2,000 on the deal, so a total of $8,000 in an assignment fee.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Congratulations.
right. Thanks. Yeah. But it it comes to show that like there's real value in working with other wholesalers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the same thing, like they do that to me too. Like whenever they have a deal that they couldn't sell,
Mm-hmm.
they'll reach out to me, and then I have a buyer for it, and so it's good to work with them.
Okay.
So we have them here for you as well. Yeah, and then I remember last time we talked, like one of the neighborhoods that you ended up doing some deals in, it's a neighborhood that um, like you were wholesaling a deal out of, or someone was wholesaling a deal from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so tracking where these deals are, where these wholesalers are, um, selling their deals is very important. So make sure that you get on the buyers list for all these wholesalers.
Okay. Okay.
That way, whenever they send out a deal, boom, you get it. So that's part one. Part two of the wholesaling strategy, and this is a kind of a very stealth one, is that a high percentage of these wholesale deals, probably at least like 40% of these wholesale deals do not close.
Dang.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. In today's market, what happens is this. It's because there's a lot of newbies out there trying to do these deals, and so they get properties in a contract for whatever amount they can get in a contract for, because they hope that they'll be able to find a buyer for it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and most of them end up not finding a buyer for it. Now, like for my company, we close 90% of our deals
Okay.
because we don't get into a deal until we know there's something there for us to be able to close on it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
most investors out there don't do it that way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like they just get on the contract,
Yeah.
and so you want to track the deals that don't close, because those are the deals that you're going to go door knock on. You're going to send out a postcard to and try to buy from them after they don't close.
I see. And so I would, what would indicate a deal not closing?
Well, when you're on these buyers lists, right? You just email to these wholesalers and, hey, yeah, have you sold that deal,
Okay. Great. All right.
right? If 30 days gone by and they haven't sold it, well, guess what?
Yeah. That deal's still right. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they still chances are they're out of contract by then,
Yeah, okay.
right? And so that now you want to be mindful about this, because you don't want someone else to do this to you, right? in
Uh-huh.
in a sense of if they still have the property in the contract, don't don't try to undercut them,
Right. No, absolutely.
right? So what I do to sellers, I say, hey, I'm a backup buyer,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't try to like undercut the wholesaler and not go like not to go through them. But if their price is too high, like I know that no way they can make that deal work at that price,
Right. Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to the seller and say, and if ideally I try to go after the contract already expired. But
Okay.
if I go to the seller and the seller said, well, I'm still in contract with them, then I say, okay, how about this? I'll be your backup buyer. I'll write a backup contract with you, meaning that my contract doesn't go into effect unless your deal doesn't go through.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, if my price is too far different from the price that they get under contract with the other wholesaler, then I don't even like go into backup contract with them yet, because I don't want them to see that my offer is going to be a lot less than what they currently have in a contract for.
Right. Right.
So in that case, I just tell them like I'll be your backup buyer. So if your deal doesn't go through for whatever reason, please contact me and I'll come back out, meet with you, and write up a new contract with you. Okay. So yeah, so so this will, I mean, yeah, if you just do, this will bring you some good deals.
Okay. So
uh,
just this model right here. So get on each one of these guys' buyers list, okay, and look at their deals and follow up with them to see if they've closed those deals.
Right. So yeah, so you can start doing this yourself, or if you're ready for the VA, I'll reach out to. I have a VA manager. She's the one that manages all of my VAs, and she's also the ones that refer me to. Like she's the one that recruit VAs for me as I need them, or like if one of my students need them, she's the one that handles that.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I would prefer to go ahead and get a VA and spend that 250 a month on working with the VA, and
Okay.
rather than me myself.
Gotcha. Okay. Now the thing to keep in mind is that different VAs have different costs. Okay. So the VA for the 250, this is more of a data entry. So like they're not going to be the one that will be able to make calls and
Okay.
negotiate deals for you.
Great. Okay.
But
Right.
all of these little researching stuff,
Mhm.
sending out texts, like they can do those things.
Okay. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Awesome.
Yeah, like my VA that does the acquisition, I pay him $850 a month plus $100 per deal bonus.
Okay. Okay.
So he
800.
gets paid big bucks for a VA,
Mhm.
but he's super strong on the phone.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he's actually an American that used to be a loan officer. He used to live in California, a loan officer. He married a Filipina, so he moved to the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
But he speaks English very fluently. He also speaks Spanish. He's very strong on the phone, so I pay him a lot of money.
Yeah. No, he sounds awesome. How did you find him?
Well, my VA manager, she posted ads looking for an American VA, and that's how we found him.
Oh, that's great. That's
So
great.
we specifically, look for an American VA that lives in the Philippines. That's bilingual, that speaks Spanish. So yeah, we just like whatever we're looking for, we post ads that are specific to that person that we're looking for.
Okay.
And yeah, my VA manager manages that. So I'll have her reach out to you and y'all set that up. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
all right. So let me see here. All right, yeah. So the VA, can put all of these people into a spreadsheet. Like for example, the landlords. You're
Okay.
gonna put them all into a spreadsheet, and then you're going to then take those phone numbers and you import them into your what is that text system that you use again? Something com.
Get response, not get response, but live com.
Yeah, Livecom. So you're gonna put it in there, and then you're gonna send them a text, and a simple text that says something like this. It's like, are you still buying rental properties? I have a property I really need to sell quickly. And then if they say yes, tell me more about the property, or send. Then once they say yes to that text, then I'll ask them for the email address and their name, so I can send them, property info, and so that's how I get, the name, phone, and text, and they go on my sort of like VIP buyers list, because these are much more qualified buyers than people with bandit signs or people at real clubs.
Absolutely, they are. They're like pre-qualified. They're already pretty much you kind of pre-qualify them. You don't have to do that bandit sign where you have to really qualify. I'm so tired of these calls from bandit signs. Oh,
Yeah, those newbie. Yeah, these are proven because they went far enough to have rental property, so they are very pre-qualified.
okay.
Okay.
All right. And now, when my VA, he's gonna put this in an Excel. He's only gonna put what the phone numbers and name if there is one. And
Yeah, right. And email if there's one. Yeah, they'll put whatever information that they can find. But the most important information is just the phone number because you're gonna do a text blast to them regardless if they have name or email or anything else.
great. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the VA can log in and do the text as well. Okay, so it's not something that they log in, they do the text, they do the respond. So in the end, the result that you're gonna get in the end is you have a spreadsheet of people with name, phone, email, like qualified, landlord buyers with the name, phone, email. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So then whenever you have a wholesale deal, you just, you send it to them. And if you don't have a wholesale deal yet, you can get one from one of these wholesalers.
Oh yeah. Right.
Okay. And are you subscribed to myhousedeals.com?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. So the VA can also get all of the wholesalers from there as well
Okay.
to add to your spreadsheet. Okay. All right. So let me see here. And then to get more for sell by owners,
Okay.
the best way is for you to subscribe to buyownerdaily.com.
Buyownerdaily.com.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, could you hold on real quick for me?
No problem. Go right ahead.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, because actually I have an appointment at 5:30 that I need to run to. Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna leave this here with you. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and subscribe to buyownerdaily.com.
Okay.
And what that does is and make sure you get the account where you can log in online. Okay, you have to request for it. Otherwise, they'll just send it to via email.
I see.
Okay, but yeah, get it to where you can log in online, so that way you can get for sell by owners from the last 3 months.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and then I'm gonna teach you how to. I'm gonna help your VA to send a text to all of them to see who still have a property still available for sale.
Awesome. Okay.
Because if they haven't sold it, in the last 30, 60, 90 days, they're more motivated.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna end that for today, and I'll we'll schedule another time. But we'll so that I think the VAs and the for sale by owners, I think that's gonna be a good amount for you to work with for this week and get some deals in place.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, I'll do that. The daily, and then you said your lady, your manager will reach out to me in regards to the VA.
Yeah. Okay. And but in the meantime, don't wait for the VA. Just move forward and get some deals in place. Okay.
Yeah. No. Definitely.
All right, buddy. All right, then yes, we'll end here and then I'll we'll schedule another time. Okay.
Okay. Great.
All
All
right,
right.
buddy.
Thanks for your time.
Okay.
Will we dig down our